Christian. He has won it on a Congress ticket earlier, seen as a very strong candidate this time round, and even there he's trailing. Probably an indication of the presence of anti-incumbency. Several senior leaders of the BJP also trailing. Remember, Sriramulu, somebody who the BJP at one point in time thought that he could be made the Deputy Chief Minister, is also trailing from Bellary rural constituency. And in the larger Bellary district as well, the Congress seems to be at least leading in multiple seats over there. Remember, these are regions where the Congress lost out in 2018, whether it's in Bellary or the larger Kalyan Karnataka region. That's where the Congress suffered last time, and this time they were hoping to do well. At least the initial leads that have come in from the first few rounds indicating that perhaps Congress is gaining in those regions. Let's also not forget that other leaders, even in coastal Karnataka region, where the BJP is leading, they are leading with a wafer-thin majority of, say, around 700, 800 votes. And that would be a cliffhanger. We will have to perhaps wait till the 14th round of counting to exactly know who will win there. So the numbers could still go lower for the BJP if things go bad in coastal Karnataka. But right now, several of these ministers are trailing by a huge margin.
Okay, Harish, we'll just request you to stay on with us. What Harish essentially, Aman, is saying that it looks like, at least as far as regions like coastal Karnataka is concerned, there is a possibility that numbers for the BJP, which are about at 83 out of the 224, could go down further. Now, look, again, in the last 15 minutes, the numbers have changed. The JDS, when we last spoke, was at 21. Now it's reached at 29. Even the others have increased to about 4. So there is fluctuation that's happening even as far as the JDS is concerned. You know, Aman, we were speaking about the fight for relevance for the Congress party. It's fight for relevance for the JDS as well.
Absolutely, and JDS is absolutely fighting for its relevance with its, with its main leader, the patriarch Devagowda, in his late 90s now, not very well, and Kumaraswamy trying to take the mantle from him. Obviously, it's a do-or-die election for the JDS, but if these results hold and Congress gets a majority, JDS again becomes, in a way, irrelevant if Congress is able to form a government on its own. And as Harish was saying, I suspect lot of BJP ministers are going to lose this election, because the anti-incumbency against the ministers and the anger of the public against the ministers was very, very strong. Many of the big faces, R. Ashok, I think, is going to surely lose against DK Shivkumar from the seat where DK Shivkumar is destined to win. And even if you see the Congress number at 108 right now, I think this number is going to rise, because if they have an early lead like this, they will consolidate these leads further. And BJP, as Harish is saying, is at 83. BJP falls further, it is not good news. As I said, BJP unofficially was saying that even if they lose this election, they would at least touch 100. That doesn't seem to be happening so far.
So, Aman, when you said it looks like a lot of the sitting ministers and leaders of the BJP would lose because there was a lot of anger against them when you traveled. Why do you say that? What were the issues that the voters on the ground felt were not achieved?
Well, I think the schemes of the state government which Bombay had launched, which Rohini was earlier mentioning in the show, people thought they had not reached them. And if they had reached them, they had reached them with cuts, or somebody had demanded a bribe. This whole commission Sarkara, the narrative which had been built, there was a feeling amongst the people on the ground that is a reality at some levels, that the state government is not very clean. The state government, as the center is clean, but the state is not clean. So Modi के खिलाफ लोगों में इतना शायद गुस्सा नहीं था, और बिल्कुल भी नहीं था. Modi के खिलाफ people spoke fondly of the Prime Minister.
And we saw that in the road shows when he campaigned and the rallies that he had.
But not so much for the Chief Minister. It was clearly people who say, क्या CM है, कौन है, हम जानते नहीं है, क्या काम किया है. So people these days, electorate has very high expectations of their elected political leaders, and one should remember that people did not choose Bommai as the Chief Minister. People had chosen B.S. Yediyurappa as the Chief Minister, whom the BJP changed midway. So that is another factor that people were feeling. But still, let's wait for the final number. But clearly it seems like Congress has a clear edge in Karnataka, as the exit polls
Some numbers have readjusted there. Congress is 106 now and BJP at 85, but JDS at a good 29, that it's still holding up. But I believe there are some other reactions also coming in. Our colleague Sharon Elizabeth, in fact, has spoken to Pawan Khera. Let's take a look at that conversation as well.
Even before the counting could begin, there was celebration that was there in the lawn of AICC headquarters after a long time. Was the Congress party this confident?
Yes, absolutely. The campaign, because we were there in Karnataka, we saw the kind of campaign we ran. It was a very positive campaign, full of energy. And the response to that campaign also encouraged us a lot.
What really worked in Congress' favor? What is the majority that is going to be? Will it cross 140?
Yes, we are absolutely confident of having a clear, absolute majority. What worked is a good question. Bharat Jodo Yatra, the kind of issues Mr. Rahul Gandhi raised there and the kind of engagements he had there, that set the trend in Karnataka, especially because we spent a lot of days in Karnataka. And then the kind of campaign we ran here was a brilliant campaign.
One last question. Now the trouble once again starts. Who is going to be the CM face? That is, of course, going to be a big issue for Congress party.
There is no trouble. There is no trouble. Believe me, there is no trouble.
Pawan Khera saying there is no trouble. All our issues that we picked, we wanted to fight for the voter and for the people of Karnataka. Pallavi is getting us some other details also. Pallavi, you've gotten some information that Congress has asked MLAs to reach Bengaluru today itself. What is the thinking within the Congress?
So there's more information which is coming in, and this is really interesting. And basically what the Congress sources are telling me is that we are going to try and ensure that there's no Operation Kamla. You know, we've been talking about this, and you know, it should not be a wafer-thin majority if it is for the Congress party. They're worried about that. So flights have been dispatched, choppers have been dispatched, and all senior leaders have been passed to all the key areas. So the whole thing is all of them are going to be flown to Bengaluru, and I'm sure there's going to be a resort which is booked.
What is now interesting is now we're actually getting more picture that is becoming clear of how different it is from the last election.
This is what
so
we were
it's
discussing.
about 28 currently for the Congress, BJP down by 22. And Aman, this is what we were discussing.
Even
If
the
the,
JDS is
Congress,
down,
if the Congress gets to that 120 figure, where will that number come from? BJP se aayega ki JDS se aayega?
BJP se aa raha hai lag raha hai
So BJP down by 22, JDS also down by 7. But as of now, the JDS is at a good 30. So in the morning, you know, many were discussing whether JDS will still have that role as a kingmaker. If these numbers hold, it will very much could have the role as far as some sort of deciding factor is concerned.
They need to go to 115, 116 at least, the Congress, you know, to be very comfortable about it. Below that, you know, it will be a problem for them because then, you know, this 82 plus 30 becomes 112. It's again in striking distance to the 113. So they'll be very, very worried about that. I think Congress wants to get a clear majority up to 115, and they must be expecting that as in another hour or so, these leads which they have will solidify for them further.
Yeah, let's break down region-wise also. Let's begin with Bengaluru because those numbers are also now reflecting. So Pallavi, out of the total 32, it looks like BJP is managed, at least as of now for these numbers, as far as Bengaluru is concerned, pretty much the same picture that we'd seen in last elections also. For the Congress, down by 5 is what we're understanding for now. JDS just about down by 1, so pretty much the same. But as far as the BJP is concerned, at least as far as region, the Bangalore is concerned, that saffron surge remains. Aman?
PM Modi's 2 roadshows in Bangalore. It's
And
showing.
also, I think the urban area,
But urban
Congress,
exactly,
the Congress has not been very thing. Though, you know, again, they tried to push that. I mean, one of their members of parliament, Shiv Kumar's brother himself is a member of parliament from Bengaluru rural, which actually comes into that constituency.
पिछली बार 17 पे थे ना कांग्रेस.
Yeah, so they've come down.
So they've come down.
And
BJP is up by
also,
6.
I think it was a day before voting, if I'm not mistaken, a day before polling, Rahul Gandhi actually, that's where he met the gig workers 2 days before that. Then he went to a cafeteria, he hops onto a bus. So in his own way, they were trying to woo the urban voters as well. But urban votes have always been a problem for the Congress party. The BJP in state after state has always had that edge.
And if you move to central Karnataka, it looks like only pockets of blue that you can see. And look at the
But that was
increase that
expected,
we are
I
seeing.
think.
Plus 11 is what we are seeing as far as, there's just about 25 seats as far as central Karnataka is concerned. For the BJP, a down of
a loss.
almost 13. JDS is plus 2, but not much of a change that we're seing. But this big number,
Big
as
gain.
far as
Yeah.
13 is
That's a
concerned
big gain
for
for
the
the Congress.
BJP.
So Congress was calculating central Karnataka. They were having actually a lot of hope. I mean, a lot of the their campaign and all of that. So they thought that, you know, what we may not gain in, say, a coastal Karnataka or in northern Karnataka, we will get it in central Karnataka.
What really has worked for the Congress in central Karnataka, Pallavi, that has gone against the BJP?
Well, I mean, I think the fact that they focused a lot of it, and a lot of DK Shiv Kumar, Siddharamaya's rallies were in here. So they use a lot of the local leaders over here. That really worked for that, you know. I mean, yes,
If you just move from central to coastal, then coastal picture, I don't see much of a change.
but it's
as
interesting that the
of now.
BJP has gone down
Even
by
if
much.
down by
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
seats,
Two seats,
that would be
that
a big
makes a
concern.
difference.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, so at 10 is what we're understanding as of now. There are only 13 seats as far as this entire coastal belt is concerned. The Congress is up by 2 there as well. JDS and others.
Congress had only
have-
one MLA in the last election from
Yeah.
Bangalore. That was the only sole MLA they had.
Yeah.
But this time, BJP
But the
is
coastal belt is
suffering a bit
something
of
that the
loss.
BJP was banking big on. So
Yeah,
even
yeah.
if those 2 seats go for the BJP in this belt, then
Yeah,
it
just
looks
said
like
that.
that the Congress is making inroads. Because if you make it in the strongholds of the BJP, that means that's where the real voter is shifted.
Absolutely.
Let's look at some of the other regions also that was coastal. Let's look at southern Karnataka. as well, and this is what we were discussing earlier in the day. This is where the picture gets interesting. Congress up by 2, JDS has managed to hold that entire bastion, and this is what we were saying. Smaller parties, Pallavi was pointing this out earlier, that what they focus on is to hold their bastions, and for the JDS as of now, it looks like that's pretty much done, but they're still down by about 7. That number has gone to the Congress.
So yes, that's what we were discussing. The JDS,
the Muslim voters in old Mysore
that
shifting to Congress.
4% talk made a difference.
4%
The
talk, Bajrang Dal manifesto.
I think the Congress realized at some point of time that whatever little damage, see, there's a problem, there's a clash between the state and the national level. I mean, at the national level, the Bajrang Dal ban will be used increasingly by the BJP to consolidate its Hindutva vote bank. I mean, Jan is when the Ram Mandir is going to come up. We are going to be closer to a Lok Sabha elections. But I don't know. I mean, the Congress will have to come up with a plan on that. But at the state level, I think at some point of time they decided that it's a risk we'll have to take. Because over here, the Muslim votes can become the swing factor. So that's the reason why the Bajrang Dal ban was actually defended by some. So they made the right noises. Now one person says it's wrong, another person says it's not wrong.
Because the day when the manifesto announcement came, there was a lot of backlash. Even the leaders like Veerappa Moily came out the next day and said the state government actually can't do anything as far as a ban is concerned. But this is what Aman was pointing out, that if you think strategically speaking as far as the Congress is concerned, the Muslim voter could actually vote for the Congress, and that's what it looks like, that the JDS vote bank has been eaten up by the Congress party here. Does this look like an interesting story to you, Aman?
Absolutely. I think the Bajrang Dal point in the manifesto, there are 2 schools of thought of it in the Congress. One school of thought was it was a big goof up. You know, why did we even have to say that? Because, you know, anyways, the Muslims are voting for the Congress, but this will offend the Hindu voter who may have voted for the Congress on caste lines.
Also, many were asking that we had never heard the Congress speak about it till the time the manifesto announcement happened.
Absolutely.
So was it really needed?
Bajrang Dal office in Bengaluru, you've not been there, I went there. It's a chotu sa office. People don't even know much about it. But you've made them someone big because of the fact that you included it into a manifesto.
So now the spin from the Congress is that you guys were calling it a faux pas. It was in fact a master stroke. Because in that comment was meant for old Mysore.
जो जीता वही से करना ना, a win has many so
तो उनको लगा कि ओल्ड मैसूरू में जो मुस्लिम वोटर जेडीएस के लिए ट्रेडिशनली वोट करता है उसको हम खींच लें अपनी तरफ.
I think the 4% reservation that they spoke about Muslims actually worked for them. I think more than this whole Bajrang Dal thing, that is something which worked for them. And they were hammered at Townsend. You know, they were on and on about it.
But this is huge, Pallavi. If they get 9 extra seats in old Mysuru, that may be the difference maker actually.
Which means that good number of the JDS
but
seats have gone as far as...
Roadshow was also there. Priyanka and Siddaramaiah, DK Shiv Kumar.
Let's just look at some of the other regions also. The Kalyan
won this
Karnataka
election.
region as well. This is just about, I think this is
strongly
about
for a woman.
41 seats. Here,
Not
you're not
much
seeing
change
much change because
Karnataka
Congress
looks
is
the
just
same.
down by 1, BJP is up by 1, JDS down by 2.
खारगे साहब ने ये एरिया अपना जो स्ट्रॉन्ग होल्ड है गुलबर्गा वगैरह इसमें
इसमें इतना डिफरेंस नहीं लग रहा है. किटूर में भी एक बार we'll just have a look as to what changes have happened.
is lot
Oh, this
different.
is huge.
Are we getting any figures for Jagdish Shettar yet? No.
We'll just try and get those numbers.
That'll be interesting to see
also.
whether
So
he's winning or losing.
I think Kittur, Karnataka and Old Mysuru are the regions where Congress has gained the maximum. 15 seats यहाँ पे extra आ रहा है. 8 से 10 seat almost Old Mysuru
And
में ज़्यादा
losing
आ रहा है.
13 seats is quite a loss for the BJP.
Yeah.
So is the Shettar contribution?
Yeah, that's what we want to see.
Jagdish
Whether he
Shettar
himself
contribution?
is
With
winning.
that we'll have to
we'll have
just
to do.
that we'll just have to check. If we just look at the overall picture once again to try and see where the numbers have stabilized
1-1-1.
now. It's 1-1-1, still short of that comfortable.
Oh, it's changed.
Oh,
But
it's
the
changed.
BJP
It's
is
changed for the
1-1.
BJP now.
So Congress goes down.
Yeah, and it's quite a reduction as of now. So again, the numbers have changed quite a bit in just like 10
JDS
minutes.
has also gone up.
No, it's reverse. I think
No, it's reverse. I think that was a slight.
It's Congress only.
Yeah, it was Congress at 1-1-1. I think the magic ball is also trying to confuse us. The BJP is at 82, but still shy of that comfortable
Within
figure.
touching distance
Congress.
now. I think this will, if this trend continues for another half an hour, I think it will solidify further for the Congress, and we could
But
see.
they've kept their choppers and flights ready.
We could see
They're
Congress crossing
ready to take off.
we should see Congress crossing 120 if this trend continues. Another half an hour.
Crossing 120 is okay, but Pallavi, again, the big question then. What happens as far as the chief ministerial face is concerned? Because that's where the entire focus will now shift. That okay,
I
you
still
won the
think
state.
that Siddaramaiah को
सिद्धारमैया ही बनेंगे अगर इतनी कंफर्टेबल विन होगी 120 से ऊपर का विन होगा they will give Siddhar because see all said and done Siddaramaiah remains the tallest leader of the Congress in Karnataka, by far the mass leader. If they don't make Siddaramaiah the CM, I think they'll get into a huge problem within a year
I
of
think
government.
How do you keep
I
DKs
think
happy then?
a DK Shiv Kumar would not want a very good margin of victory for the Congress. because then my relevance as Sankat Mochan remains. Siddaramaiah would want a huge margin of win because we don't need DK Shiv Kumar to be the Sankat
जय
Mochan.
वीरू का तो वो गाना है ना, वो क्या हमने गाया था शोले हिल्स पे पल्लवी,
नहीं, but
तेरी
यही-
जीत मेरी जीत.
But
400 steps, Ridhima. 400 steps we had to climb to do our power circuit.
Acha,
And I was fit, he was panting, and so was my VJ.
look at the point that Pallavi has made.
We won't join arguments there.
As far as fitness is concerned, she's fitness shamed Aman. But just going back to the point, but you know, Pallavi, I know it's easier said than done that, you know, you'll just make Siddaramaiah the chief minister and DKs will not have a revolt. We've seen that backfire in the other states like Punjab. We were speaking about Punjab in the past. In Rajasthan, that still continues. What is that other reassurance that you give to the person who's not made the chief minister?
I don't know what reassurance can you give them, frankly speaking. See, in the case of Punjab, they announced Charanjit Singh Channi as the CM face. So it was understood. And it was easier because who else did you have? I mean, Navjot Singh Sidhu was not seen as a person who can be the CM face. But here, I don't think that half-half formula is going to work. Neither of them are going to believe it. And but what do you make DK Shiv Kumar?
But DK Shiv Kumar is already state party president. They can make him the deputy CM alongside that. That I think
Well, that is
maybe
something-
that could
that
balance
is
out
something-
things.
And also balance out the caste factor and so on and
Yeah,
so
so
on.
vocal guy as a
But don't forget, Sachin Pilot was also a deputy CM, and
Yeah.
now look at how the situation
deputy CM
is.
as well as party president. Both
And
of them.
He
considering
was
the
a
fact we
PCC chief,
continue
huh?
to get the messaging from the central leadership that do not make these comments against each other. Just 48 hours ago, we saw the comments that were made by Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot.
So-
Will we see something similar in Karnataka?
Yeah. So
We never know, right?
I'm picking the formula from Rajasthan itself. And from Madhya Pradesh, where actually Kamal Nath continued as the PCC chief as well as the chief minister. And so in Rajasthan, what happened with Pilot, you know, maybe that's the formula if they go for, though that's not a great formula to go by given what has happened in Rajasthan.
Considering the fact that
Pallavi
we've
is
been saying that stability is something that every voter is looking at, what is going to be the
Shiv Kumar
strategy?
does have the support of the Gandhi siblings, okay? So, and they do acknowledge the fact that he has been the person who's been a troubleshooter for them. And I'm presuming that there would be, they feel that there would be other occasions and other needs for DK Shiv Kumar.
Yeah.
So they feel that, you know, why not make him a deputy CM? My point is, will DK Shiv Kumar from a Congress president, a state Congress president, agree to become a deputy CM? I don't see any reason why.
Another reason could be what was cited in Rajasthan to make Gehlot as the CM is that we also have the Lok Sabha battle coming up next year within a year's time. It's also very important to win Lok Sabha seats in Karnataka
Yeah.
for
But
the
it didn't
Congress.
help, na?
It didn't
Zero
help,
seats.
but that could be cited that, you know, let Siddaramaiah, who's a mass leader, take charge as CM.
Yeah.
Let
But
us do
Ashok
something
Gehlot
in the
was
first
also the
1 year.
mass leader in Rajasthan, clearly. He had. I mean, he still has. That's one reason why they are not
Not
removing.
ready to let go
Yeah.
of
फिर
Ashok
क्या
Gehlot
करें,
as
खड़गे
well.
जी को बना दें. What do you want?
Aman
Pallavi?
seems very obsessed with the idea of Kharge being the
पल्लवी सिंह दोनों
chief
चीजें ठीक
minister.
नहीं है, तो मैं कहूँ खड़गे जी को बना देते हैं, बेस्ट हो जाएगा. या
पर
खड़गे जी
आपकी
के
भाषा में कहते हैं ना सानू की. How does it
सानू
make a difference to our lives? जो भी
और
बने
मिस्टर
मिला-
मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे पुट सर रैबिट आउट ऑफ दैट से जी परमेश्वरा को बना दीजिए. हाँ,
G.
दलित CM.
Parmeshwar has also made his intentions
He
very
made his
clear.
intention,
What he
yeah.
said to Harish in that exclusive interview was very interesting. He said, why are you only talking about two names? How do you not know that the leadership is not working with the third or the fourth name? Is that a possibility, Pallavi, that these two names you keep them aside?
I'm going to be a little cynical of that.
Yeah.
I mean, just about anybody can say I can become anything, but I think the game is largely between Siddaramaiah and DK Shiv. Siddaramaiah.
Siddaramaiah. Yeah.
Aman, I just want to go back to from where we started the conversation, if these numbers are going to stabilize, because it's about going to be 10. So in another half an hour, I think the picture should be pretty much very clear. We started from the fact that Karnataka has a pattern of a revolving door sarkar because they want stability. Why does the pattern still continue? And if these numbers hold, why has the BJP not been able to break that pattern?
BJP was able to break that pattern in UP, in Uttarakhand, in Tripura. But I think Karnataka is a different ballgame altogether. You know, the southern India remains that challenge for the BJP on how to repeat governments there. And as I was briefly touching upon earlier, I think, Ridhima, the elephant in the room, let's not call it the elephant, but it's a Mahila voter, you know, which has, I think, really...
Oh my God, Ridhima.
This is going to be...
We both know what we have to do now.
So sorry to use that metaphor, but you know, just to put it like that.
Increasingly, I think the women voters are becoming very important.
The Mahila voter, see, traditionally in Lok Sabha elections or in the repeat wins in UP, Uttarakhand, Tripura or other, it is the Mahila who has backed the BJP fully. You know, be it for Ujjwala, be it for law and order and security, or be it in the latest election for toilet schemes, or be it in the latest elections for the COVID-free rations given for 2 years. I think what has happened in Karnataka is a change in that trend.
Yeah.
I think the woman voter in Karnataka has shifted course to some extent towards the Congress. I would, if Congress wins and wins like that, I will term this as a rupees 2,000 election. The Congress promised this rupees 2,000 per month to women across the state. They went home to home with their guarantee cards promising this for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
And I think that has really registered with the women. Price rise, inflation is an issue, Ridhima, where we have seen that, you know, the LPG gas cylinder has been selling for over rupees 1,100 in Karnataka. In fact, DK Shivkumar had put a LPG gas cylinder right in the middle of the press conference hall at the Karnataka Congress office. This is the concern for the BJP. I think along with this election loss, the other major concern for the BJP would be, has the woman voter and price rise affecting state elections, and has the woman voter, for due to the issue of price rise and due to the issue of rupees 2,000 cash toll being promised by the Congress, shifted to some extent, because this kind of a verdict, you know, in Karnataka, out of 224 total seats, 122 seats, there are more women voters than men voters. Women voter percentage overall in Karnataka is also similar to the men voter percentage, almost 49.5% if I am correct. This kind of an election result is not possible unless the woman voter has shifted.
You know,
to
there's a
Congress
very
some extent.
interesting trend that's also emerging before we get to some reactions and celebratory shots that are coming in. Our colleagues are also now telling us, and this is all happening in real time, so I'm just reading out from what we're getting on our phones as of now, that the Congress in fact is leading in 8 out of the 10 swing seats, the BJP only in 1 and the JDS in 1. And I'm just trying to see which of these swing seats where the Congress in fact is leading. I'm understanding these seats are Belgaum, Bijapur, Haveri, Chikmagalur, Tumkur, Mysore, and even Bengaluru rural. That's an interesting pattern to look at as well.
Is DK Shivkumar's brother's Lok Sabha constituency. No surprises there. Okay.
So these numbers at 111 for the Congress.
Again, the mutt politics.
Mutt politics. You went there, na, Pallavi?
I went there. Amit Shah also went there. Rahul Gandhi also went there. I only want to ask one question. Why is it that no one thinks of putting money into our bank account? We also need to be.
You have to be a voter in Karnataka, na, to get 2,000 rupees.
Are we also making a pitch to our bosses now?
So we have written a piece which will go up. I'm embargoed till the result becomes clear. I believe, Pallavi, that already rupees 1,500 was promised to women in Himachal by the Congress, 2,000 rupees in Karnataka, 1,500 rupees Kamal Nath has already promised in Madhya Pradesh. We could be looking at a Congress Nyay 2.0 for women in 2024 Lok Sabha, when the Congress may say that we will put money in the bank to every woman in the country. That is I think they are moving in that direction.
I think they are going to replicate the Karnataka formula at the national level. The same thing. Our state mein local issues uthao, corruption bhi uthao.
This
and
is
a very
interesting.
structured kind of a campaign.
What are the learnings from Karnataka? We'll just come back to that. I believe some reactions and some other celebratory shots also coming in. Let's just take a look.
तब हमारे को बहुत खुशी हो रही है जो हमारी मेहनत थी अल्लाह उसका रंग लाया है अल्लाह का बहुत बड़ा एहसान है और इसके साथ साथ हमारी जो कांग्रेस पार्टी जो एमएलए कैंडिडेट को बदलकर एसी श्रीनिवास साहब को जिताई है कांग्रेस पार्टी आना जरूरी था क्योंकि गरीबों की पार्टी है कांग्रेस पार्टी गरीबों को साथ देने वाली पार्टी है
See all the MLAs, they are there in their own constituencies. Once they receive the winning certificate, yes, they will all come here because we have always worked together. We believe in collective leadership, so we are going to even celebrate the victory together. That is the reason we have called all of them to come over here.
Okay, some reactions there coming in from various Congress workers as well. And just look at those numbers as of now. It's 111 as far as 110. It's just moved as far as the Congress is concerned. 83 for the BJP. If these numbers hold, it's about a reduction of 20 plus for the BJP. The JDS is down about 10. It's at 27 as of now. The others pretty much the same. We're only seeing an addition of 1. We just gave you a breakdown of those regions as well where the inroads have been made. But why is this so important as far as both the Congress and the BJP is concerned? For the BJP, as we've been saying, is there inroads as far as the southern part of the country is concerned? If they lose Karnataka, how do they make that inroad back? Will they essentially be then seen as just a North Indian party? And why is it important for the Congress? As we've been saying, it's a fight as far as revival is concerned. It's a fight for having some sort of electoral success, also momentum for the cadre on the ground as we head towards 2024. A lot of changes have happened also from the last elections to now. You've had a new Congress president, as we were discussing a short while ago, Mallikarjun Kharge, in fact, who belongs to this region, has been made. He's a non-Gandhi Congress president. There's the Congress's Bharat Jodo Yatra that has also happened. So the Congress will also take a lot of, fillip if that momentum is maintained for the Congress party. But for the BJP, as we've been saying, the challenges have been, is Baswaraj Bommai a mass leader? Is incumbency going to be a huge challenge as far as the BJP is concerned? Will they be able to break the pattern as far as allegations against the 40% Sarkara are concerned, campaigns like Pay CM and others? Will that all go against the BJP if these numbers hold? A lot of questions will be raised as far as what the BJP could have done better. What were the challenges for the Congress party? As of now, it looks like they possibly would have worked around those challenges. The biggest challenge was that infighting still continues within the Congress party. Who will they decide as far as their chief ministerial candidate is concerned? The other criticism, as we were discussing with Pallavi and Aman a short while ago, was, is the Congress equally aggressive as far as the BJP is concerned? Are they seen enough on the ground? And those are some of the questions that we'll continue to discuss. Also, what do these elections mean for the third player, which is the JDS? It's a fight for relevance even for the JDS party. And if these numbers solidify, which is a reduction of 10 from the last election to now for the JDS, JDS will also have to do a lot of introspection as far as their future political ambitions are concerned. If I have any of our colleagues that we could connect and try and understand what's really happening on the ground, because as we were getting your mood on the ground, at least as far as the AICC headquarters in the national capital is concerned, Dol Nagara celebration. Also getting you the mood outside JDS leaders' residence, it was pretty muted. We didn't see any activity. No such reaction that's coming in from the BJP headquarters or BJP leaders as of now. But what was interesting was that a short while ago, we got those pictures and visuals that came of Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who in fact made a temple run, went to the Hanuman temple, and I believe some other celebration shots also now coming in. Let's go full film. Let's try and listen in. Celebratory shots that are coming in from the AICC headquarters here in the national capital. The workers and Karyakartas of the Congress wearing t-shirts which has Rahul Gandhi on it. And these are the visuals that I was talking to you about, which came a short while ago. This is a temple in Shimla where you have Priyanka Gandhi Vadra in fact visiting a Hanuman temple. And why this becomes very important is because of that entire announcement that came of the Congress party in its manifesto, whether they would want to ban outfits like the Bajrang Dal. So the BJP hit out at the Congress at that time and said this is an anti-Hindu party. So this temple run by various leaders that we're also seeing becomes extremely interesting. We'll shortly be joined by our guests also to make sense of the numbers that we are seeing on the magic wall. Out of the 224, the numbers have changed a little bit. The Congress has come down to about 106 as of now, the BJP at 86. Even as we are speaking, those numbers are still stabilizing. So about half an hour or 40 minutes, we should have a clear picture of what really is happening. But even if these numbers hold and the Congress is, able to cross that halfway mark comfortably, this will mean a good momentum with the Congress party heading into the 2024 general elections. We'll just go back to this wall to try and make sense of the numbers. As of now, the Congress is at 107, which means they're already up by a good 27 from last time. The BJP as of now is at 86, down by about 18 from what we'd seen last time. The JDS also has lost a good 10 to 11, down by 11, down to 26, and others not much of a difference that we have seen. So two important factors to watch out for: what really has gone against the BJP, what has worked for the Congress party, and what does this mean as far as the relevance of the JDS is concerned. We'll shortly have BS Arun and Rashid Kidwai also. And which way Karnataka is headed and what are the big narratives and the talking points that are coming out. Before we get our guests connected, let's just talk to you about what were the challenges as far as the BJP and the Congress were concerned. For the BJP, as we've been pointing out, Karnataka is a government that sees revolving governments, revolving door sarkar is. I believe some reactions coming in. Let's just try and listen in. Okay, I believe these are visuals from outside Siddaramaia's residence. He's just leaving his residence. There is a huge media contingent on the ground. There are security personnel also who is trying to escort Siddaramaiah. Now, of course, for the Congress party, the numbers will give them a lot to celebrate. But will there also be a new headache for the Congress in terms of who their chief minister will if these numbers do hold and the Congress is voted to power? Will it be Siddaramaiah? Will it be DK Shiv Kumar, or will we see a third player in the fray? Let me also now bring in our guests, B.S. Arun and Rashid Kidwai, now joining me in the studio. Pallavi and Aman seem to have deserted me. They've taken a break. Good morning to you, B.S. Arun, as well as Rashid. You know, we've all had an early start. Things have changed drastically when we were speaking about an hour ago. Let's take a look at the numbers that are holding. Rashid, to you first, about 107 to the Congress. I believe in another half an hour to 40 minutes, we should have a clear picture of which way things are headed for Karnataka. But if these numbers hold, let's first talk about what's gone against the BJP.
Yeah, so thank you, Ridhima. I think the important factor here is that vote percentage. If there is a huge 4, 5, 6% of vote percentage difference between the BJP and the Congress, in the long run, the Congress would again a simple majority, a workable majority. I think it's the double engine ka sarkar. The trends are showing that many ministers are either trailing or on the verge of defeat. It tells you that the BJP does well in urban city like capital like Bangalore and all. It will be a reflection of Prime Minister's campaign, but the Prime Minister's campaign is in that sense, in a state election he was not a contender, so it will have a limited impact. So unless the state government performs, I think this whole concept of double engine ka sarkar is not working.
Okay, you're saying the double engine sarkar is not working for the BJP. B.S. Arun, I want to bring you in and take the opposite question to you. If these numbers hold, what has worked as far as the Congress is concerned?
Well, I think it's mainly the issues on the ground, like price rise. I think people are really suffering because of the price rise of, especially the two of the commodities. One is, the gas prices, and the other is oil prices. So these two, I think, because I was talking to many below the poverty line people, and they were saying that it's it's becoming very difficult to run the household. And so I think that was one reason. And the other reason is, they projected a formidable duo of Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar, who again, over the last 1 year, were taking up the issues, trying to convince people, and ensuring that the party stays in the mind of the people, the recall value. And the third one is the guarantees. I think the 5 guarantees that the Congress gave, which were aimed at this, not the money class, but the people who really wanted these subsidies. I think that really caught on with the people.
And one more thing, Ridhima, I think what Arun is saying is absolutely spot on. One more thing, this personality and presence of the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge, he stayed on from 14th of April, he has not moved out of state. He's from Karnataka. He's the only Congress President actually from the Indira Gandhi days who's winning a home state. P.V. Narasimha Rao could not win. Andhra, Sitaram Kesri never won. Bihar, Rahul, Sonia Gandhi, they could never, think of winning Uttar Pradesh. And so Mr. Kharge's presence, and we do not know exactly, but it has also given some kind of upsurge as far as the Dalit votes were and tribal votes were concerned towards the Congress.
And in addition to that, I feel the excessive projection of the PM in a state election, I think was also not good for the BJP. Okay. Number one. And number two, the BJP, it's not that it didn't take the issues on the ground, but then the issues like Bajrang Dal, Bajrang Bali, people of Karnataka don't want to hear this over and over again. Yeah. On the 6th day after the Congress released its manifesto, BJP was still talking about Bajrang Dal. I think people were really fatigued by the BJP's excessive dependence on this issue.
Okay, so you're saying this entire polarizing narrative possibly could have gone against as far as the BJP is concerned, because people are still looking at real issues. And that is why, Rashid, something that we've been discussing since morning, even as we continue to look at those numbers, is the issues that you represent in a state election are very different from the issues that a voter is looking at as far as a general election is concerned. And that is why the expectation from the elected government is also very, very different. So hijab, halal, quota rao, manifesto rao might be important as far as the political parties are concerned. But for a voter, jobs, infrastructure, development, potholes for a state like Karnataka become equally important. And did you see the political parties missing talking on those issues?
Yes, Ridhima, I think you have raised a very pertinent issue, and that's where I think the entire aspect, and the Congress has suffered a lot actually in many elections, that when you go on the very negative campaign, you just run down the opponent, etc., it tends to, put off the voter. See, it also raises a very serious question when a Prime Minister of India goes and campaigns extensively. He is well within his rights to, as a BJP leader and a worker, he is very, it's his democratic right to campaign, but the kind of issues that were raised, I think, and a rejection of it, if at all it happens in final run, it reflects poorly on the office of Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister speaks and accuses the political party of supporting, terrorism, and if that party wins, then, these are the very problematic things.
Yeah, I just want to look at some of the regions where we're already getting the numbers to try and understand where things have changed. And Arun, I want to first begin as far as the Bengaluru region is concerned. This picture looks pretty similar to what we saw in the last election. It shows an up as far as the BJP is concerned by 7. It's at 18 out of the 32. For Congress, it's about 13. What continues to work in urban areas like Bangalore for the BJP?
Well, this is in a way surprising, because last time the BJP did not do too well. I will take the 32, the real urban seats in Bangalore. If you take, if you go back to history, 2008 BJP won 18 seats out of 28, and 2013 it was reduced to 15, and in 2018 it got further reduced to just 11.
And I just request you to stay on with us. I apologize. I believe our colleague Akshara is live from the Congress office. Let's take a look at what's happening. Akshara, talk to us about what's happening around here.
Well, early celebrations at KPCC office not so long ago. We just had one party worker waving a flag, but right now, as we can see in the visuals, party workers have started gathering. They're, as you can see in the visuals, they're throwing colors, holy colors, applying colors at each other. Early celebrations set in at KPCC office. We also spoke to the Congress workers. They're exuding with confidence, stating that Congress will come back to power with absolute majority. They're not sure about the numbers though, but stating that Congress will come back to power. They are pretty much confident. They're also pointing out the fact that there is anti-incumbency, and that will be proved today with the results coming out. As you can see in the visuals, Congress party workers have started gathering, and there will be a more number of people are yet to come, and we'll also get to see Congress working presidents and other leaders, coming to this particular venue here in Congress, and as you can see in the visuals, early celebrations. And we'll also try to get in touch, talk to a few of the Congress party workers here. But the celebrations have already set in. They are confident that more number of MLAs will win. They will come to power. So this is what's happening here at the KPCC office right now.
So celebrations have already started at the KPCC office in Bengaluru. This is what Akshara is pointing at. Akshara, keep getting those voices for us. Going back to what our guests were saying, Arun, I apologize for interrupting earlier. You were showing a pattern that has emerged from the last elections to now as far as urban seats are concerned.
Yes, and BJP had been not doing well in Bangalore city, but this time it's showing, I think, is quite impressive and interesting. And this, I feel, is mainly because of the Prime Minister's campaign, because his campaign was very impressive. People came in large numbers and voluntarily. And Bangalore being a city of the educated people, there are lots of educated people who came on their own, along with their family members and friends. So I think that was one of the main reasons why Bangalore, BJP did or is doing quite well.
Let's move to Central also then. This is where Congress seems to have made big gains, Rashid. And when you were speaking to a lot of Congress leaders and supporters on the ground, this was exactly the belt where they were planning to make those inroads as well. Why do you think the BJP has lost so much ground as far as Central Karnataka is concerned?
I think it's again that because there was a change of a lot of political situations. You must remember the BJP did not get that mandate in 2018. It was a single largest party, but then it was after 15-18 months after that they came to power, and since then they've been having a lot of problems. First of all, removing Yadurappa, then rehabilitating him in some way also. So I think their entire constituency, that means vote bank, caste equation, they all got a little problematic, and it's actually a state government's failure. That's why I'm saying this double engine ka sarkar. As Arun was saying, the Prime Minister was able to bring them some kind of push, and because of that the BJP performance has improved. Otherwise it could have gone below 60 or 50 also.
And
Okay.
one more factor about Bangalore.
Sure.
That in 2018 there were 12 seats where the margin of victory was less than 15,000. So that might also have acted in favor of BJP this
Yeah.
time.
I just want to move to some other regions also to try and see what really has changed from the last election. If you look at the coastal belt, not much has really changed. But in a area like this where you have only 13 seats, a loss of even 2 seats would have a huge impact. And Arun, you can comment on this. If the BJP loses those 2 seats, that also will be a huge dent as far as this area is concerned.
Yeah, BJP, the coastal belt had been a strong supporting base of the BJP for long,
So
for decades.
even one seat gone will have an impact.
Yes, it will have an impact. And if you talk to any BJP leader, they will say that they are going to win all the seats. So these are still early days because the counting of votes is still going on.
True.
I think we need to wait. And this is also reflective of the, talking of the majority of the seats where BJP is leading. This is also, many call it as the BJP's polarization experiment laboratory or the Hindutva laboratory of this region. And that's where BJP expects to, take all the seats. But it's surprising that they're losing 2 here.
Okay. I just want to look at southern Karnataka also, because this always shows an interesting picture, because you have the play of JDS also here. JDS was very confident that they're going to be able to retain as far as their strong footholds are concerned. But if these numbers hold, they're also seeing a good reduction of anywhere between 8 to 9. And that seems to have now gone as far as the Congress's kitty is concerned.
Yes.
So any gain that's made in the Congress is actually coming from the JDS.
Yes, I think JDS overplayed its card, the fact that there will be kingmakers and all, but the voter tends to have bring some kind of stability, and the political narrative of Karnataka election was such that it was highly kind of polarized, the way Prime Minister was speaking, the way Congress was attacking him. So the voter obviously has gone, though the final tally has not come, but I feel that it would be towards a decisive mandate. If voter by and large wants a decisive mandate, then a party which is claiming to be the kingmaker tends to lose out, and that is what I think is going to happen to JDS.
Okay, so the JDS will not have its role as far as the kingmaker is concerned, and that is why I said if the Congress is having a fight for revival and relevance, even the JDS is having a similar fight. But what is their future if these numbers go further down as far as the party is concerned? But I'll just request our guests to stay on with us. Some other reactions also now coming in and conversations that our colleagues have had. Let's take a look.
Not so long ago, the KPCC office here at Bengaluru was completely empty with just one party worker waving a flag. But right now, as the counting has started and a few MLAs and candidates of the Congress party started to show leading in certain constituencies, you have Congress party workers gathered here in large numbers, raising slogans and waving party flags. As you can see in the visuals, they are raising slogans, and more Congress party workers are also coming to the KPCC office, gathering here. We are accompanied by Congress workers here, ma'am.
We are very confident. We are very confident. Not only the confidence has not just started now. We were confident from very long back because we were there with people since last 5 years. So we know that people are going to vote for Congress this time. We are definitely going to come up with a thumping majority. But numbers are just numbers.
Okay, some reactions that are coming in from the Congress headquarters, that's the KPCC office in Bengaluru. You know, Rashid and Arun, there is an interesting factor that our colleagues are now pointing out. As far as swing seats are concerned, we're understanding the Congress is leading in 8 out of those 8 of the 10 swing seats, BJP only in 1 and JDS in 1. It's interesting to see which those swing seats are. The swing seats I am understanding are Belgaum, Bijapur, Haveri, Chikmagalur, Tumkur, Bengaluru Rural, Mysore. Do you see any interesting factors, or were these on expected lines?
The factor here is that they are spread out in almost all the regions of Karnataka. So that such constituencies, and this might favor anybody because these are the swing seats.
Okay, I'll just want to go back to the overall picture also to try and understand where the numbers currently stand. Okay, it's pretty much holding to what we were discussing a short while ago, which is Congress at about 108, BJP at 84, JDS at 27 and others at 5, but still very early. A lot of things could change as we head further into the day. But Rashid, I just want to talk to you about some of the narratives that came out as far as this polling season or election campaign was concerned. For the BJP, of course, the challenge was that anti-incumbency will be a huge factor. Can you only rely as far as the Modi factor is concerned? Would you agree that this campaigning saw a new fillip, at least as far as the BJP is concerned, post the 25th, when you saw this aggressive campaigning by star campaigners, blitzkrieg and roadshows by the Prime Minister? Because the question was, can Basavaraj Bommai get enough action on the ground? Is Modi needed to get that momentum on the ground?
I think it is for the BJP to introspect hard, because this tendency to put Prime Minister to the front and put his personal prestige, popularity, I think it is not a very good idea for the long run, because what happens in a linguistic states like what happened in Bengal, what's happening in Karnataka, that local issues, local politics, local leadership, that plays a very key role. Of course, as my friend Arun was saying, there are some kind of pockets of influence, like in urban centers, in Bangalore and all. He made some impact, but that's not enough. So BJP must get its electoral arithmetic right, instead of just counting on Prime Minister, because see, when a party, when a state votes against whatever the Prime Minister is talking, it reflects pretty badly the kind of issues, the narrative you're talking about, the entire thing about, I don't want to get into all that Bajrang Dal and Bajrang Bali. Somebody can drive a very negative this thing from it, that what Prime Minister says does not hold good in that state. So therefore the local leadership is here. You see, I don't know, the breakup will not be there, but the Lingayat vote, the way they used to vote for the BJP, if there is a shift, then the BJP needs to introspect into it.
I also want to understand another aspect as far as the BJP is concerned. As you pointed out, the issues that were raised by the Congress and the issues that were raised by the BJP were very different. Possibly that's the difference that even the voter is, looking at. But for the Congress also, Arun, there are challenges that are many. Yes, if these numbers hold, they will be extremely happy, optimistic, because one, you'll have an entry as far as the southern part of the country is concerned. And of course, for the Karyakartas also, any electoral success only adds to the morale on the ground. But how does the Congress maintain that momentum? Is there immediate headache of who the Chief Minister is going to be could take away from that optimism and momentum?
First of all, how many seats Congress will win, whether they will get a majority or not. If they don't get a majority, then there is a bit of a trouble, because they have to get the numbers. In Karnataka, normally the others, the independents, are not many. Not many independents get elected. It may be 2 or 3 maximum. So that is one. If Congress needs more numbers, then it will have to look at JDS. And then comes the problem. That is one scenario. The other scenario is it getting a majority, a simple majority like 114, 115 seats, in which they are comfortable, at least for the present. At that time, the question of the Chief Minister comes, and both the strong candidates, Siddaramaiah and DK Shivakumar, they have made it very clear that they are the Chief Minister candidates. That is one. And how the Congress will choose its CM candidate, and whether there will be friction between these supporters of these two leaders, that's going to be a big question.
Yeah, and we've seen this headache for the Congress in other states as well, for Rajasthan, for example, Punjab in the past. But I believe my colleague Akshara still continues to be with us. Some other celebration also taking place, Akshara?
Well, yes, celebrations continue here at KPCC office. I'm accompanied by Congress workers. Let me quickly cut across and speak to them. Ma'am, how confident are you Congress will the Congress come back to power? Celebrations have already begun here.
See, confidence we are not getting today. We have got our confidence since last many years, because since 5 years we are there with the public. Okay, so what is public opinion we know. Okay, it's only that now today everybody is coming to know that yes, Congress party is going to win Karnataka elections.
Can you give us a number, ma'am?
See, I'll tell you one thing. In politics, number is just a number, that's all. Even if you win with one constituency, that is the victory. Okay, so I don't want to talk about the number. People will give thumping majority. That's all I can say.
If you could point out two things which will help Congress to come back to power.
Two things is our hard work since last 5 years. Firstly. Secondly, it is the bad government, that is last. Bad governance of BJP government is last. And collective leadership. We worked under collective leadership. And our 5 schemes, okay, people have trusted us, because between 2013 to 2018 also, whatever promises we gave in the manifesto, around 165, we have fulfilled almost 158 thing. So they believe us. They have belief in us. They trust us. That is the reason this time also they will take up all our schemes and they will give us hope.
So counting is still going on. We'll see how things will pan out and where the results will tell.
Sir, there is no looking back. Congress will form the government in Karnataka. Okay. That is the hard truth.
Okay, thank you so much. So there you go, party workers exuding with confidence, stating that Congress will come back to power. So that's what's happening here at KPCC office right now in Bengaluru.
Okay, Akshara, we'll of course continue to come back to you. Let's also bring in our colleague Swastika, who in fact I believe is joining us from outside Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai's residence. Swastika, somber mood there, or are you seeing some activity around you?
Well, unlike Telangana, and I come from Telangana, where every small event is like a massive magnum opus, right from hoardings to poster. The visuals here in Karnataka, especially the fanfare around Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, is largely limited to the rural population. In the sense, it's very rustic, and that's because we're reporting from this area. We are in Haveri. In fact, Mr. Basavaraj Bommai has been here at this residence since the last 1 hour or so. He's been closely watching and keeping a track of all the numbers that are playing out on the screens. In fact, before the counting started, we did have a word with him where Mr. Basavaraj Bommai told us that he's very much confident of the BJP's victory, more so about his victory as well from Shigao, where he is contesting for the 4th term. Shigao, largely, as much as I've roamed, it has a mixed demographic. In fact, it's a Muslim populated area as well, and it is also an area which is dominated by Lingayats. While Lingayats have always rallied behind Mr. Basavaraj Bommai, the Muslims also there have a lot of goodwill for him because of the developmental oriented approach that Mr. Basavaraj Bommai has had, and that is the main pitch that he's going ahead even in Shigao. So he told me that away from the caste narrative that is usually highlighted by the media, Shigao is one place where he has the confidence and the trust of all the people. So he's pretty much confident of winning. The Congress candidate, a new person in the fray, Yasir Pathan, is somebody, he's also a local leader.
Okay.
But when it comes to the clout that Mr. Basavaraj Bommai enjoys, it's perhaps not that much. But what remains to be seen, I just want to conclude with that, is the JDS's candidate, who is Shashidhar Yeligar, who is also somebody who is being touted as a dark horse and has potential to take away the Lingayat vote bank. So that is going to be an interesting fight. For now, Mr. Basavaraj Bommai leading in Shigao. But what happens to his fate, whether he'll be reinstated, whether he's in the Chief Minister's fray at all, if the BJP manages to win, is something that's going to be interesting to watch out for.
Oh, absolutely, Swastika, and we'll continue to come back to you. Our colleague Cheryl Elizabeth, in fact, has also filed a ground report from here at the AICC headquarters in Delhi. Let's take a look.
No end to the celebrations at Congress headquarters. While there is Dhol the Nagada that is going on, there is also a man who is dressed up as Bajrang Bali. आज आप बजरंग बली बन के आए हैं यहाँ पे.
बजरंग बली हमेशा कांग्रेस की बात का आज जिस तरीके से भाजपा ने वहां पर बजरंग बली जी को उतारा, अपने स्थानीय मुद्दों से लोगों को भटकाने की कोशिश करी, गरीब की बात नहीं करी, गरीब की बात को नहीं सुना, बेरोजगार की बात नहीं सुनी, भ्रष्टाचार की बात नहीं सुनी, लेकिन बजरंग बली ने किसकी सुना? राहुल गांधी जी, जो हमेशा गरीबों की आवाज उठाते हैं, भ्रष्टाचार की बात करते हैं, महंगाई की बात करते हैं, चाहे उन्हें सीबीआई ईडी डराए, लेकिन राहुल गांधी जी हमेशा बढ़ चढ़कर जनता के बीच में रहते हैं और ना डरे थे वो गोरों से और ना डरेंगे भाजपा के चोरों से।
ये जो सेलिब्रेशन चल रहा है कायम रहेगा।
ये 2000 लोकसभा के संकेत हैं और भाजपा को पता लगना चाहिए, जब जब वो धर्म की बात करेगी, हिंदुस्तान की जनता उसको देखेगी जो गरीबों के बीच में रहता है, गरीबों का बात को सुनता है।
So you saw what the person here has been saying, that this is just an indication of 2024 elections, Lok Sabha elections, and the celebration is continuing. We are seeing that not just at the lawn, outside as well, there is full-fledged celebration that is going on. The Congress believes that they are going to cross 140 mark today.
So the Congress feels that they're going to cross the 140 mark, way above the comfortable figure. Some other visuals also now coming in, and I believe these are coming in from the KPCC office in Bengaluru. There are celebrations happening at the AICC in the national capital. There is movement that's happening, some activity that's happening at the Congress office in Bengaluru as well. And the mood has changed drastically over the last 1 hour. When we spoke to Akshara an hour ago, there was not much happening. We could hardly see any workers. Suddenly, they've all broken into some song and dance, what we can see on our visuals as well. We'll continue to, of course, play those visuals. But just going back to our guests. And Rashid, I just want to understand, we were just speaking about, did the BJP have an over-dependency on the Modi factor? They thought that if we get Modi out on the ground, we'll be able to get or consolidate our votes, which I think was in sharp contrast to what we saw from the Congress party, because they decided to focus on, as you were saying, local issues, but also local leaders. Leaders like D.K. Shiv Kumar, Sitaramaya, they actually have huge presence as far as a cadre on the ground is concerned. And that is what we've been saying, local issues, local leaders. Do you think that was the big difference as far as the BJP and the Congress's style of campaigning was concerned?
Yes, Ridhima, you are right. Actually, the Congress fought this election in a very clinical manner. There were people on the ground. They picked up local issues. They had a stated policy not to confront the Prime Minister or get involved in the, so to say, national issues. There were certain distractions were there, provocations were there, but the Congress stuck to the plan. Their social media team, everyone kind of chipped in. Every time there was this campaign was designed. You look at D.K. Shivkumar, who's a PCC chief for the past 3 years. He's been putting process and structure in place, and that is reflecting in today's thing. On a lighter vein, Ridhima, I want to tell you that yesterday I had gone to Bengali market, and there was a sweet shop, so the people were very excited. So I gently asked them, I said, why is it? So he said, oh, after a long time we've got a big kind of order from the Congress for the laddus and sweets. So I mean, this is what happening. So the stakeholders are not just voters also, but some mithai walas also.
Yeah, Arun, please.
Just add to Rashid. See, the moment BJP removed Yediyurappa, it was clear that there is no strong local leader in BJP to take the party forward. Maybe that's where the party in Delhi decided to bring the top leaders Modi downwards to Bangalore. So I think that was where BJP's main poll plank got sort of hit. I mean, they should have projected, very good, they should have developed rather. Look into it now, because there is a sort of a hiatus within the BJP about this. There is a gap of bringing, look at Congress and look at BJP.
Yeah.
So that's one of the lacunae that BJP has faced.
Yeah, Rashid, I just want to go back to some numbers. It's about 111 for the Congress. Post 115, they will be, of course, comfortable. 113 is the magic number. BJP at 78, JDS at 28, and others at 7. I'm just trying to see if some of our filters, of course, is going to show us to try and understand where these numbers have in fact come from. So this becomes interesting, right? As far as the Lingayat-dominated seats were concerned, do you think the BJP also made a slight miscalculation that the Lingayat vote is not going anywhere? But because if you see these numbers, that entire number of down 17 seems to have now gone to the Congress party. Do you think that was a miscalculation that whatever said and done, this vote is not going to go anywhere?
Yes, I think the presumption, and it was not reflected in the kind of selection of those key personalities, particularly in case of Yadurappa. There was a lot of flop was there, and any division, a substantial division of 25% or so in Lingayat votes would have major impact. So this tally, what we are seeing, perhaps is going to go up.
Yeah.
And remember, when it happens in a state, though Karnataka one can say is a state, but it has 6-7 states within the states in terms of regions and the kind of plurality that it represents. But at the same time, Congress is a pan Karnataka party. So therefore they are able to make inroads in various places. Am I right, Arun?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, in addition to that, again the Yadurappa factor. I think the moment he was removed, perhaps the Lingayats were a bit upset. True that BJP took care to bring Bommai, another Lingayat, as the chief minister, but then that hurt feeling perhaps was there among the Lingayats because all said and done, Yadurappa is the only Lingayat leader in any party, in any of the three parties. So,
and I think the kind of messaging that the BJP was working on is what we heard from Yadurappa himself, that even though I'm not actively involved as I was in politics, my son, has been taken care of. So possibly there was a reassurance still given to the Lingayat vote bank that I am not going anywhere, so stay with the BJP. But I'm not sure if that really has worked. I just quickly want to take a look as far as the Muslim-dominated seats also are concerned. And, I was speaking to my colleagues earlier in the day, as far as the old Mysuru region is concerned, when this announcement came of wanting to ban the Bajrang Dal in the Congress manifesto, the biggest allegation that came from the BJP was that you're an anti-Hindu party. But do you think it was a strategic decision that the Congress party took, considering the fact they thought that the Muslim vote, at least in those areas, would come to the Congress?
Yeah, I think you've raised a very interesting thing. I think the whole issue about Bajrang Dal vis-a-vis Muslim votes and the implication is very somehow simplified by the media and many of the political commentators. Actually, some sections of Muslims are quite outraged that all these things are looked at from a, so to say, Muslim point of view. Because if you look at Bajrang Dal or any other PFA included, that these are the law and order problems. These are the, as we say, terror has no face or no color, no religion. That applies to antisocial elements, miscreants, etc. So the identification of that with the community is problematic. And therefore, I think there's a, kind of counter polarization that happens. So people, voted against those who were propounding this kind of narrative. And what you are saying, the success of BJP in some places Muslim dominated, this is also a bit misnomer, because we are talking about 18% vote, 20% vote, 25% vote. You see, it happens more in Uttar Pradesh, but that leads to a counter polarization. So a seat may be Muslim dominated, and yet the success will go to the opposite side.
Yeah. Arun, yeah, sure, please go ahead.
Just add to this. I don't know why Congress brought this issue of Bajrang Dal into the manifesto, because, I mean, if it was to consolidate Muslim voters, there was no need. Muslims in any case would have voted for Congress because they want a party that consolidates all the Muslim votes to defeat the BJP. So in such a scenario, why, raise a topic which was not there?
And also the electorate, I don't remember any Congress leaders speaking about a ban like this till the time we heard this announcement as far as the manifesto is concerned. Also, I'm not sure, and you can come in here, Rashid, the criticism that comes from the Congress usually for the BJP is that BJP polarizes the narrative. When you make an announcement like the Bajrang Dal, isn't that same criticism going to be applied for the Congress party as well?
Absolutely. I think the only reason why perhaps Congress included Bajrang Dal, because it wanted to make a very categorical kind of ideological statement that it is not, unlike the BJP, it is not for that kind of, majoritarianism, stands for rule of law, etc. It's a complicated kind of position, which is, and second thing, one must remember that, the character of Muslims in Karnataka is very different from, let's say, Uttar Pradesh or Bihar or some other states of north. See, they are very much part of the sort of Karnataka mainstream. They speak, many of them speak the language. They are the same thing. Some of them are very progressive, economically well off, and very much part and parcel of. So there is no need to otherize them. Am I right, Arun?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to go back to one point that we were making as far as what next for both the parties, for the BJP and the Congress as well. For the BJP, because this was their only, hold as far as part of the country is concerned, many are now saying that is BJP going to be reduced to just a northern party? Argument that's going to hold if they lose Karnataka, that it is a party that only caters to the northern part of the country?
Well, I don't think. I think if you look at the BJP, it's there everywhere. And when BJP loses, it doesn't collapse. The only exception being in Chhattisgarh. So they hold on. They lost to Rajasthan, but they got a lot of seats. Similarly in Karnataka also, if they eventually they lose out, but they will have a figure of 75 seats or so. So that's the thing. I think the real problem for the BJP is 2024 Lok Sabha elections. The Karnataka had given them 24 out of 28 Lok Sabha seats. If there is a shortfall of 15 Lok Sabha seats, where are they going to get it from? If you look at the political situation of Maharashtra, Bengal and
Rashid,
Bihar.
I've just gotten an update and these numbers will just take a few minutes to update. But as far as the ECI website is concerned, I'm now understanding the numbers that the ECI is putting out is Congress at the halfway mark of 112 seats, leads as of now. And Congress also with a 43.2% vote share. So if you think these leads consolidate, what is the number that you're looking at for the Congress?
Well, I think Mr. Kharge 2-3 days ago had told me that it is 130. So I think eventually it will be something like that, maybe anything between 125 to 135.
At 43 or 44, Congress should be crossing 130.
Okay.
There is no way that it will go below that. At the same time, the BJP's vote share also will come down and the seat share.
So that too, we'll just have to wait for these numbers to update and I'll have a look at the vote share also. But just talking as far as the future of the BJP, Arun, is concerned, for Karnataka, as we said, of course, there's relevance with each election. Low electoral success means low momentum for the cadre on the ground as well. But going forward, you have the general elections of 2024, you have state elections like Rajasthan as well. What does it mean for the BJP going forward?
Well, it is a setback, no doubt. But then, party will be there and it's going to be the biggest opposition party also. So I think they only have to sort of imbibe the enthusiasm among the party workers, party cadres. RSS is there to do that. And I don't think BJP will be greatly unhappy with the defeat. Yes, defeat is a defeat, but then they can still look forward for the 2024 elections. I don't think BJP has been having a very good history as far as Lok Sabha results are concerned. So I think they are going to still do better.
And knowing the BJP, to be fair, Rashid, they're an aggressive party. They're always in election. More to their credit, they don't see any election as big or small, whether it's a municipal election or a general election. So possibly they'll be able to make up for the losses in the other states and they run up to general elections as well. But I just want to go back to the challenges that were there for the BJP. This entire allegation of corruption, that seems to have become a bed of thorns as far as the BJP is concerned. This entire campaign by the Congress of a 40% Sarkara, pay CM posters all across the city. Do you think that's where the biggest problem for the BJP was, allegations of corruption and to get quote-unquote a clean image?
Yes, Ridhima, I think this is a key problem because you see, there has to be a kind of, what you speak and what you preach or what you practice. So there has to be consistency. If there is any kind of oddity, we have seen, Ridhima, this is a political thing, but we've seen there are a lot of ED raids, CBI inquiry into, corruption, and mostly in over 90% cases, they belong to the opposition. So I mean, if the government of the day, I'm talking about the central government, is serious about eradicating, corruption or having zero tolerance, it has to have a consistency regardless of which political party is in power in which state. So therefore, I think the BJP at the federal level needs to get its act together and deliver what it promises. And that is where I think the Prime Minister's stature will go further.
Okay, and Arun, just taking on from what I was asking Rashid a short while ago, that was there over dependency on two factors, which is the Modi factor and the Lingayat factor. It's not just the Lingayats. Even if you look at the Vocaligas, do you think there was over dependency on Lingayats and in maybe ignoring as far as the Vocaligas is concerned, if I can use that word? Do you think the arithmetic and the calculation for the BJP went wrong there?
Well, there was over dependence on Lingayats, but I don't think they ignored the Vocaligas. See, over the last few months, 3 or 4 months, Amit Shah and Modi had been coming to this old Mysore region and campaigning there. Amit Shah stayed put in that region also for a couple of days. The very first public meeting that he had was in December last year. So since then, their focus also was on this old Mysore region because this is a Vocaliga belt, and BJP wanted to expand its influence into this region as well as into this Vocaliga caste, in addition to the Lingayats. So I don't think BJP, did anything wrong in that. But then on the other side, continuing to depend on Lingayats as a vote bank must have, hit the BJP because, and in addition to that, you removed two leaders who are also from the northern Karnataka belt, the strong belt of the Lingayats. I think that also has had an effect on the today's results.
Rashid, I just want to you, which as Arun is pointing out, the likes of Jagdish Shettar, Lakshman Savadi, how much impact did they have when they decided to jump ship as far as the Congress is concerned? And the other factor is as far as these promises that were made by the BJP for the quota, because it got a status quo from the courts. Do you think the BJP was trying to go big when they said that we'll take away that 4%, split it between Lingayats and Vocaligas, but that momentum could not be maintained because of what we heard from the court?
Yes, Ridhima, I think that was an afterthought. If in principle, legally speaking, it was wrong, then the BJP should have done it when they got into power in 2020. And they took a lot of time on the eve of election. If you do it, then voters tend to, they don't get too impressed because they think it's a case of too little, too late. I remember reservation, Mr. Siddaramaiah had a far more kind of attractive, propositions to make, and the Congress manifesto also have, going up to 75% and all. Of course, it has legal hurdles and challenges, but Tamil Nadu has done it, so maybe Karnataka will also be able to negotiate it when the matter goes to the Supreme Court. I think the BJP there was a lot of ad hocism was there. There was over dependence, as Arun is saying, on the Lingayats and all, and they lacked that kind of leadership. One very important point I want to make, Ridhima, that see, people keep go on accusing the Congress of not being able to bring about generational change and all. I'll tell you, it's very difficult in political parties, because if you experiment, you fail, and you fail, then you are dubbed a failure. So the BJP tried, to its credit, in Karnataka, they tried to bring some kind of generational change and all, but it's not working, or it didn't work.
I want to understand, Arun, from you, what are the factors that the Congress will take pride in? We were speaking about Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president. He's from this location. How much of an impact did the Bharat Jodo Yatra have as far as these numbers are concerned? Because the criticism that came from the BJP was that, the Congress is not getting any momentum. Look at the places that they've chosen. It's all in the minds of the Congress. Karnataka was an area where it had huge impact, or at least a huge presence when it was happening. How much of the credit of these numbers, if they hold by the end of the day, should the Bharat Jodo Yatra take?
See, obviously, although Congress had been saying that election was not the reason why Rahul Gandhi took out this yatra, the very fact that the yatra stayed in Karnataka, it was 18 days, if I'm right.
And the response?
And the response, it amassed people actually. It galvanized the party workers. They brought in many who are outside the Congress party, like say opinion makers, the influencers. So Congress succeeded, and that was one reason. That was one sign of the party gaining the confidence of of the voters, and they belong to a very large spectrum of people, and Congress, I think, should be giving maximum marks to this if they are winning today.
Another aspect that I want to understand, Rashid, from you is that the criticism that usually comes the Congress's way is that when you're up against a aggressive machinery like the BJP, have all your might on the ground, which usually is not in the case of the Congress party. This time around, interestingly, we did see the likes of Sonia Gandhi also out campaigning. How much of an impact does it make, not for the voter, but the karyakarta and worker on the ground when they see their leaders out campaigning?
Very big, very effective. I think that's where again I would say that personality of Mallikarjun Kharge, that he's a old hat of Karnataka politics. He knew the ground situation very well. He sat through the quick response mechanism was there. If there was any, for the first time, and Arun would vouch.
Okay, Rashid, I apologize for interrupting, but if you just look at the numbers, it's the halfway mark as far as the Congress is concerned. It's 113, but I think at 115, 116, they'll be extremely comfortable. There are trackers that are currently being burst outside the Congress headquarters. Karyakartas already out celebrating. These are the AICC headquarters in the national capital. We were seeing similar visuals that were coming in from the KPCC in Bengaluru as well. So the Congress has already declared that they have won elections as far as Karnataka is concerned. Celebrations out happening already, sweets being distributed, crackers being burst, and people dancing and celebrating. So Rashid, 130, it's the halfway mark. If this number holds, anything above this will work as far as the favor of the Congress party is concerned.
Yeah, that would consolidate, and this kind of visuals actually tell you a story. There are a lot of pent-up feelings were there, because remember, the Congress is not, I mean, they won Himachal, but that's a smaller state. I think this is a big victory after a very, very long time, after 2018 or so. So therefore, the Congress wants to rejoice it, and they were pitted against very heavy odds. And as I was saying, in Karnataka they fought this election very well. So the quick response mechanism was in place, and as I was trying to bring my friend Arun in this, so for the first time in decades, I saw the Congress was able to decide its first list of candidates 1.5 months, 45 days before.
I agree with the point that Rashid is making. This election was almost seen in two phases, and I think the Congress peaked much earlier than the BJP. With the BJP, a lot changed after the Prime Minister, in fact, reached on the ground. Those road shows happened, those rallies happened. So it's actually 114. So it's past that halfway mark as far as the Congress is concerned. Arun, would you agree with the fact that the Congress, in fact, peaked much earlier than the BJP as far as campaigning and momentum on the ground was concerned?
Yes, and they realized what the people wanted.
Yeah.
Especially that's why I keep saying that the ground realities they understood properly, I think, than the BJP. And BJP bringing their central leaders, I think it didn't work. Whereas, Sonia came and addressed one public meeting only, and whereas Rahul Gandhi was also not made a big show of himself in Karnataka, and that was one of the main reasons. And the two people who are in the forefront were Siddaramaiah and Shivkumar, and also to some extent Mallikarjun Kharge. So I think this paid puts to the Congress, efforts in winning Karnataka.
Yeah, I think the picture is pretty much clear now, Rashid, and Arun as well. It's 116 as far as the Congress is concerned, way past that comfortable mark, because this is what we were saying, that how do they ensure that they're comfortable so that they won't need any support. And at 116, that comfort will be coming as far as the Congress is concerned. They're up by 36 if you compare it to the last elections. BJP down by a good 30. They're currently at 74. The JDS has also lost quite a bit of the ground, lost 10 at 27 as of now. We've spoken about the Congress and the BJP, but Rashid, what about the JDS? What's the story here? I was listening to multiple reactions that were coming in from the JDS leaders yesterday, that we've burnt our hands, we don't want to ally with anyone, we're unsure as far as our strongholds are concerned. But for the smaller parties, yes, even if you hold on to your bastion, a political relevance is still the question mark.
Absolutely. I think JDS has been a kind of successful in retaining its support base, and yet it would face irrelevance because there is no vacancy for a kingmaker. And if you look at it, very interesting. It's actually increasingly becoming a collapse on the part of BJP. From the last time 2018 election, they've already lost 30 seats as far as the present tally goes. And as we keep saying, because of the vote share, the Congress tally is going to go up 130. Now 130 is very important. I don't know last time when Congress got this 130 seats or so, it was perhaps the time of Devraj. Am I right?
No, 178, Virendra Patil.
Virendra Patil had got. Yeah. So, but that was the time in 1980.